Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office.
Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes, and welcome to the month of February. For all my patrons in the Witchy Work Wishes Patreon family, oh my goodness, wait until you see the card draw this month. If you have not already seen the Sunday post, get ready. Grab your running shoes because we have some work to do this month. But I am on it. I am on it. I am going to organize all of it for us so we can conquer it together. Ooh, and I added another worksheet to the monthly mix. It's going to be the first one of the month, and I'm calling it our grimoire page. All right, today, it is about breaking the cycle. It's about, learning life's lessons so we can move forward. Why this topic? Why now? Well, it's because I watched the movie that I always watch on in bulk, Groundhog's Day. It's been around forever. It came out in 93, and the two main actors are Bill Murray and Andy McDowell. Now, Bill Murray's character is a jerk, like a frickin' jerk. So life, the universe, his guides, whatever you want to call it, they give him the opportunity to try again by making him repeat the same day over and over and over again. Now, in the movie, this continues until he actually does learn the lessons, which in turn allow him to move forward. Now, I love this movie. I honestly do watch it every year during Inbulk, but it really got me thinking, what about us? What about our own personal journeys? Are we taking the opportunities that life gives us to learn and move forward? Or are we repeating these same scenarios over and over again? Too, stubborn to learn, too caught in the safety of familiar outcomes to grow and move forward. Yes, it's a little heavy, and I don't think I can do as much of a, lighthearted approach as the movie Groundhog Day did, but I'm going to balance it out, I promise. First, though, some things I did over the weekend in my own, personal practice and some quick Witchy Work Wishes housekeeping notes. Oh my goodness, you guys, you will not believe what I did for Inbulk. So there is this really cute movie called Groundhog Day. It's from back in like the early 90s, and I'm just kidding. Okay, I couldn't resist. All right, never mind. I actually did. I did a bunch of stuff for Inbulk, and the new moon that, really does mirror Inbulk's energy. Like, how cool that those lined up like they did. I got my hands dirty in the yard. I planted seeds. I did actually quite a bit of planting, not just with some seeds, but I also baked some sourdough bread. I lit candles, and I rested. I got my ass kicked at work this past January. Ironically, like most Januaries, and I needed to rest and regroup before jumping into the energy of February. Now, this rinse and repeat January ass kicking is no longer working for me. I am better than this. I know I can do better for me, my staff, and my clients. So now with the movie reminding me about patterns that repeat, with the slap in the face of yet another frantic January, I personally want something different. I know I can be better at my work. I know I can be better at providing leadership for my staff. And I know I can provide better services for my clients. So when listening today, please know that I am launching this journey for myself. I am going to work on the habits, the patterns and behaviors that are keeping me in the same damn repeating cycle, getting the same messages, the same lessons year after year. I am taking this as an opportunity to learn and grow, to break the cycle. Now, I know I mentioned in the episode that a worksheet is going to be available on Patreon to support this topic. I did add one last month for the big, witchy garden episode, and I like that. Like, I like the option of offering more supporting, documents to our topics over there. So be sure to join the family so you have access to. There are, if you haven't peeked at it, there are 4 levels to choose from. There is a free level. Here you're going to have access to the early episode releases and the monthly card draw. The Alchemist Apprentice is, of course, going to get everything with the free level, the early releases and the monthly card draw, but you're also going to get the monthly worksheet that supports the card's energy. So the worksheet has journal prompts, an exercise, and a tea recipe in it. Next level is the Mystic Maven, of course, having everything previously mentioned. On this level, you are also going to get a monthly spell. Again, going back to the card draw energy on the first week and using that specific energy for a very witchy spell to help support us on our journey, for the month. And then we've got the Enchanted Entrepreneur, grabbing everything again, right, from all the previous levels, and adding here the monthly Grimoire worksheet. Now, this worksheet is new for 2025, and it's taking the card's energy for the month and giving us a bunch of things to work with. I have symbolic associations, I have spell work focus, sigil energy, and a potion, along with a really big full moon ritual and exercise to kind of tie it all together. I will have this one coming out early since the timing of the full moon is going to change each month. So let's see what else. Well, I had my first big hit of the year. I knew it was coming, maybe not as fast as it actually did, but I knew it was coming. My aunt passed last week, and transition on this level stirs everything up. The circle of life moves in the power of three, right? Birth, life, death. Each phase feeding into the next in an endless spiral rhythm. We've got the maiden, mother, and crone, the waxing full and waning moon, the past, the present, and future. They're all reflections of the sacred triad that governs our existence. So standing within the cycle with all of the family's raw emotions right now, I find myself questioning my own mortality, honestly, wondering where I truly reside within these phases and how my own journey will unfold. I know this is not the only loss that I'm going to have this year. I'm pretty sure I will lose my father before December. I am pretty sure I will lose my guardian German Shepherd before December. I know what is coming. The inevitability of change presses against my awareness right now. And just whispering that nothing stands still, that even in death, transformation continues. And if life is a will, then where am I turning now? And when does my time come to fade to the next phase? Will I greet it with resistance or reverence? Oh my goodness. But you know what? It does actually walk me right into today's topic. Am I making the most out of my human experience? Or am I wasting time by refusing to learn lessons, by, not embracing the opportunities that life gives me for growth? At some point, my choices will be gone. At some point, I won't have the opportunity to grow and learn and move forward. But it is hard. It is so freaking hard. Like, change is hard. We obviously want to grow, right? That is why we are here. That is why I do this podcast week after week and why you choose to listen. So we can learn something new, so we can add tools to our toolbox, our witchy toolbox. And you know what? To encourage each other to be better, stronger, and wiser. I am committed, and I am so happy to have your support. Our family, our witchy Work Wishes family, is growing. We are getting stronger. We are collectively sharing energy to support each other and encourage our magical spiritual paths. So thank you. Really, thank you. Okay, ready to dive in? Should we just do it? Let's break the cycle together.
The movie Groundhog Day is celebrated as a whimsical exploration of time loops and self discovery, right? But beneath that comedic charm really does lie a profound metaphor for personal growth and transformation. Couple that with the, symbolic tradition of Groundhog Day, where a groundhog's reaction to its shadow predicts the weather. We can work with that energy. We can uncover some deep lessons about light, shadow, and our own human experience. Both the film and the folkloric groundhog can offer us a powerful invitation to explore the interplay of light and shadow within ourselves, illuminating those paths that we can use to break free from the cycles that bind us. In the folklore of Groundhog Day, the groundhog emerges from its burrow on February 2nd to either see its shadow or not. Now, if it sees its shadow, it retreats, signaling that there is going to be 6 more weeks of winter. This act of retreat mirrors that universal human tendency that we have when faced with our own shadows, right? The parts of ourselves that we often fear or wish to avoid. We too retreat into the comfort of those familiar patterns, even when those patterns no longer serve us. Our shadows represent the fears and doubts and unexamined parts of our psyche. They are the memories that we'd rather forget, the habits we don't question, and the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are and what we deserve. These shadows, though uncomfortable for sure, they hold tremendous power. Like the groundhog shadow, they serve as signals, little indicators of what lies beneath the surface, waiting to be understood. Now, in Groundhog Day, the movie, Phil Connors, who is played by Bill Murray, he is stuck in a loop, right? He is living the same day over and over again. Initially, he resists his predicament, indulging in escapism and self-serving behavior. But no matter how hard he tries to avoid it, the day resets, forcing him to confront himself repeatedly. Now, this narrative brilliantly captures the essence of what happens, I think, when we fail to face our shadows. We remain stuck. We repeat patterns, unable to move forward. Now, Phil's eventual transformation comes not from external changes, but from internal ones. He begins to recognize and address his flaws, his fears, and his limitations. He becomes more attuned to the needs of others and, most importantly, the truth of his own heart. So by confronting his shadows, his cynicism, selfishness, and fear of vulnerability, the character Phil breaks free from the loop, stepping into a new day and into a new life. This process is a perfect allegory for shadow work, the spiritual and psychological practice of examining the darker aspects of ourselves. Now, shadow work invites us to look inward, not with judgment, but with curiosity and compassion, to understand the forces shaping our behaviors and beliefs. Now, recognizing and facing our shadows is going to be the first step in breaking patterns that keep us stuck. Shadows grow larger and more intimidating the longer that we tend to ignore them. Just as maybe like a literal shadow appears longest, right, at sunrise, and then at sunset when the light is low. The courage to face these shadows, however, really does allow us to integrate them, reducing their power over us. So the character Phil Connor's journey, it kind of reminds us that change doesn't happen overnight or without effort. Transformation really does require patience and self-awareness and, honestly, the willingness to try again, even when we falter. It is through this process of recognizing our shadow, understanding its origins, and then consistently choosing a new way forward that we can find our freedom. Now, the groundhog's ritual emerges as a potent symbol for this personal journey. When the groundhog sees its shadow, it retreats into the safety of its burrow, avoiding the discomfort of winter's final stretch. So similarly, when we see our own shadows, the temptation to retreat into avoidance can feel overwhelming. But winter's end, like personal transformation, is inevitable. By staying present and engaging with the discomfort, we can emerge stronger and more aligned with our truest selves. The interplay between light and shadow, it really is a universal dance, right? It's not just on Groundhog Day. It's in every aspect of life, right? Light represents clarity, awareness, and growth, and shadow represents the unknown, the hidden, and the feared. Yet one cannot exist without the other. The shadow is cast only when light shines. To engage with our own personal shadows is to engage with our light, to understand that both are integral to our wholeness. So I hope you had a great Imbolc. I hope you had a great, Groundhog Day. I am using this process though of facing our shadows. Again, it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. But I'm using that metaphor today about, emerging from our burrows, standing in the light and bravely acknowledging the shadows that come with it. It's going to be through this brave confrontation that we grow, that we get to evolve and ultimately break free from those loops that keep repeating and hold us back. The groundhog is a great teacher on this one, right? Retreat is a choice, but so is emergence. What are we going to choose this year? Are we retreating at the sight of our shadows? Are we going to step forward? Are we going to embrace them? Are we going to choose to walk into the light of transformation? All right, how can we take that information and learn to live with some purpose, kindness, and some love, right? That journey that Phil's character goes through, it really is about his own personal spiritual growth. So in Groundhog Day, the character Phil Connor, right, he's in that time loop, and it is more than just a plot device. It is a metaphor for the cycles of life and the lessons that we are meant to learn. So Phil's journey from, that cynicism to enlightenment mirrors the spiritual growth that we all experience when life presents us with the same challenges until we shift our perspective and transform. Initially, Phil approaches that time loop with frustration, right? He indulges, he uses it to serve out his own desires without any accountability. I get it. We get it, right? That's tempting. But this stage reflects how we often approach life's difficulties. We react with avoidance or, those quick temporary fixes that fail to address the root cause of our struggles. The time loop persists. So in the movie, it forces Phil to confront a simple yet powerful truth. Until he changes, his circumstances will remain unchanged. Now, as the days repeat, the character Phil begins to experiment with, different approaches to life, right? He grows a little curious about the lives of those around him, finding little ways to help and connect. He learns to play the piano. He learns to appreciate the beauty in small moments. And he starts to show some kindness without expecting anything in return. These are little changes, but they start to mark his spiritual awakening in the movie where, he shifts from being super self-centered to a life of purpose and love. This transformation resonates deeply with the idea that life's challenges are the teachers. When we fail to learn the lesson, we encounter the same lesson, the same situation again and again. The cycle continues until we break it, until we, shift our perspective, embrace growth, and align with our own personal higher values. Phil's journey demonstrates that, the key to breaking free lies in living authentically with, kindness and love as his guiding principles. Phil's eventual liberation from the time loop serves as a reminder for us that, spiritual growth is not about achieving perfection. It's about embracing the process. Right? Life is a series of opportunities to learn and grow and connect. When we face our challenges with open hearts and a willingness to change, we get to move closer to our true potential, leaving behind the loops that once held us captive. So ultimately, Phil's story is a testament, right, to the transformative power of purpose and love. His journey invites us, though, I think, to examine our own lives. And it's why I watch that movie every year during Imbolc. What patterns keep repeating? What lessons are waiting to be learned? And how can we, like Phil, right, step into a new day with wisdom, kindness, and a renewed sense of purpose? Well, I have some ideas. Life has a way of presenting us with patterns, with situations and challenges that honestly do, just like the movie, repeat over and over and over again. These repetitions are not coincidences. They are opportunities for growth, signaling those little lessons that remain unlearned in our lives, or maybe some aspects of ourselves that truly do need some attention. If we can recognize those and break these patterns, we are going to have freedom. We are going to be reclaiming our power. Now, it's going to require intention. It's going to require awareness and maybe, dare I say, a little magical assistance. But we've got it. We can do this. Let's talk about our powers, our practical and our witchy tools that will help in identifying and overcoming repetitive cycles. Now, I also have a ritual and a spell I want to include today, specifically created to help us release old patterns and embrace new beginnings, because it is in fact Imbolc, right? It is the time of new beginnings. All right. First one, recognizing repeating patterns. The first step to breaking any cycle is going to be recognizing it. Often, these patterns, they manifest in our relationships, our careers, or our personal habits. They might look like, always attracting the same type of partner. It might look like facing similar conflicts at work over and over and over again. Or you know what? It might look like returning to some type of self-defeating behaviors despite our best efforts. How do we recognize them? What tool in our witchy toolbox do we grab to help us understand them? All right, I'm going to harness the power of 3 for this one. I'm going to say journaling, dream work, and divination. Journaling is a powerful tool for self-reflection. Set aside time to write about your experiences and your feelings. Use journal prompts like, what lessons keep showing up for me? What situations or emotions feel familiar, as if I faced them before? Where do I feel stuck? And what might be keeping me there? Now, don't just write in your book and close it, right? Review past journal entries to spot recurring themes. Writing not only helps us recognize patterns, but it also provides clarity and a sense of empowerment. All right, dream work's another one. Dreams often act as our messengers from the subconscious, highlighting, unresolved issues or recurring themes. So keep a dream journal by your bedside. You guys know I grabbed the actual voice recorder just to make it quicker for me to go back to sleep. But record your dreams immediately upon waking. Look for symbols, people, scenarios. Look for something that is repeating. And then consult dream dictionaries, or you know what? Also your own gut intuition, right? Reach out, ask for guidance on how to interpret these symbols. And then divination work, right? Use tools like tarot cards, oracle cards, or runes to gain insight into the patterns in your life. Ask questions like, what lesson am I meant to learn from this situation? Maybe ask, what is holding me back from breaking this cycle? Also ask, what steps can I take to move forward? Pull a card, pull a rune, and meditate on its meaning, seeking guidance from your own gut instinct, your own intuition. Let's add a ritual as well, because this is another item in our toolbox that is going to be very helpful. I'm going to do one that is specific for releasing old habits. And I think cord cutting is going to be really appropriate for this one. So once you have identified the habit, the pattern, the repeating lesson in your life that you have not learned, it's time to embrace it. And it's time to let it go. Cut it loose. Now, a cord cutting ritual is going to be a powerful, powerful way to, symbolically release attachments to old habits, to old relationships, or, cycles that no longer serve you. I'm going to add the specifics over on Patreon. I'll post a worksheet of sorts with this ritual on it to, help support your work. And, I'll add those journal prompts too that I just mentioned. So let's do a cord cutting ritual to release old habits. You're going to need a piece of string or some type of cord. You're going to need a candle. Use your color magic on this one, depending on what you are looking to release. Grab a pair of scissors and then a little, small bowl of water or soil. Both of those, water and soil, are going to tap into Imbolc that just happened, especially using the gardening episode that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and just the power of seeds and new beginnings, right? And then the water element with Bridget. So find a quiet, sacred space where you are not going to be disturbed. I would probably cast a circle on this one, but you don't have to. Hold the cord in your hands. Focus on the habit or the pattern that you wish to release. And visualize how this pattern has impacted your life and set the intention to let it go. Light the candle and say, with this flame, I illuminate the truth. With this act, I sever the ties that bind me to repetition. Hold the cord over the candle and imagine all of the energy of the old habit flowing into it. Use the scissors to cut the cord and say, I release you. I am free to move forward. Place the 2 cut pieces of the cord into the water or bury them in soil as like an act of grounding and transformation. All right, and also in our witchy toolbox, we've got spells. And since we are still feeling that energy of Imbolc and the new moon, I think a spell for planting new beginnings is perfect and will really help in this process of growth and change. So symbolically, planting a seed represents our commitment to growth and change. It's simple, right? It's simple, but it is super, super powerful. And it's a spell that can align our intentions with the natural cycle of renewal. So if you want to do this one, you're going to need a small pot, a little patch of soil, some seeds. Again, go back to the actual herbal magic with this one. Choose a seed that's going to resonate with your intention, right? Think of like basil for prosperity, lavender for peace. Go back to that type of magic and energy. You're going to need a piece of paper and a pen and then some water. Write down the new habit, perspective, or the goal that you wish to cultivate on the piece of paper. Fold it and place it at the bottom of the pot. Then fill the pot with soil, covering the paper with a, firm but gentle layer of dirt. Plant the seed and say, as this seed takes root, so does my intention. I nourish growth and release what no longer serves me. Water the seed and place it in a spot where it's going to receive sunlight. Commit to caring for the plant as a daily reminder of your new path. Right, breaking cycles, they're not easy, especially the repetitive cycles. It really is going to be some work. And I know the movie Groundhog Day takes a nice light approach to the heavy, heavy topic. And this is in fact work. It does in fact take time and energy. It's going to require both inner work and outward actions. But we have tools. We do have tools in our toolboxes. And by combining practical tools like the journaling, the dream work with witchy tools like rituals and spells, I really do think we can create a holistic approach to transformation. All right, in addition to the 2 witchy tips, I want to add a general practical tip if you have in fact found a pattern, identified an issue, or uncovered a problem that you would like to address. Changing a habit, an ingrained pattern or behavior is very challenging. But I've got some tips. Just start small. Start small and focus on one habit or behavior at a time. Trying to change too much at once can feel overwhelming. So instead, just focus on a single habit and break it into smaller, little baby steps, more manageable steps that you are going to take. For example, you want to start exercising, right? Begin with a 5-minute walk each day rather than committing to like an hour-long workout immediately. Small wins really do build momentum and confidence. Think about using positive triggers too, something to replace the old habit. Habits are often going to be tied to specific triggers or cues. So identify the cue for your old habit and then create a new behavior to replace it. So let's say I tend to snack mindlessly. Let's say we mindlessly snack while watching TV. Instead, let's keep a glass of water nearby and sip that instead. Replacing a habit is going to be more effective than trying to eliminate it entirely. And then, track your progress for wins. This is really important because it's going to create that momentum. So, keeping a journal or even using like an app, something to track your progress is really going to help you stay accountable and then visualize your growth. Celebrate even tiny, little itty bitty milestones. Reinforce your efforts. Rewards like, a self care treat or extra downtime, they can motivate you to keep going and, build the habit into your routine. And just remember, consistency is key. Super, super important. And it's okay to stumble, right? Habits take time to change. So focus on progress, not perfection. Okay, let's bring some witchy work wishes into this topic. Let's get our business habits in order too. Changing bad habits and behaviors at the office requires intentional effort and a supportive strategy. But really, it's the same process, right? It's the same song and dance. First, we have to identify our triggers and set clear goals, right? Reflect on the habits that you want to change. Maybe it's procrastinating. Maybe it's overcommitting. Maybe it's unhealthy snacking at the office. Identify the triggers. Those are probably going to be stress, boredom, specific times a day, maybe. And then set a specific goal. Replace vague intentions like, oh my gosh, I am going to stop procrastinating. Replace it with actionable goals such as, I am going to spend 30 minutes prioritizing my tasks each morning. Next, we want to create some positive rituals. We want to start our days with intentions. Develop a morning routine that really does set a productive tone, such as, reviewing your to-do list or, meditating for 5 minutes before work. Take strategic breaks too. Plan your day out like you're going to work real hard for 30 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. Something that is going to improve focus and avoid burnout. Everybody in my office just laughed who is listening to that. Yeah, I know. I know. It's January. We're going to get through it. And then celebrate small wins. Like reward yourself for sticking to your new behaviors, like enjoying a favorite snack after completing a project. I would also organize the work environment. A tidy desk can reduce distractions and improve focus. So keep only the essentials within reach. Use visual cues too, right? Those little sticky notes or those digital reminders are going to support us to and encourage us, to work on our good habits, right? Maybe you have a little sticky note that says, "Take a deep breath before responding to emails." It's something visual. And then think about like some healthy snack alternatives at the office too. This is really going to help keep you organized, right? Stock your desk with healthier options that are going to support you being at your best. Avoid reaching for junk food when you're stressed. I would also practice mindfulness and self-awareness at the office. Pause before reacting. I knew that's a hard one, but if you find yourself repeating a bad habit at work, pause and reflect on why you're doing it. This awareness really can help, break the autopilot mode that we definitely tend to get into. Think about stress management too, right? Incorporate stress relief techniques like deep breathing, stretching, or, that a quick walk to avoid reactive behaviors. I would also look at accountability and support at the office. Let a trusted coworker or mentor know about your intentions. They really can be there to, be your cheerleader, to, encourage you or help you stay accountable. And then teamwork, right? If others in the office share similar goals, create a challenge or, system of mutual support, right? Like a walking group or a shared focus hour, free of interruptions. Breaking old patterns, bad habit. It's hard to transition out of old patterns at the office, in anywhere in our lives, but we can create some little rituals at work. At the end of the day, see if you can incorporate some type of reflection before you head out and go home. Take 5 minutes and review what went well, what didn't, and how you can improve tomorrow. 5 minutes. It's a quick little wind down and wrap up at the end of your day. And then use some small little gestures like, clearing your desk, shutting down your computer mindfully to, signal the close of a productive day. I know it's hard. I know this is not like super easy stuff that you're just going to be like, I'm doing everything tomorrow. Shifting habits at work takes time and practice, just like it does in our personal lives. We can focus on incremental changes though. And don't forget, be kind to yourself, right? When you slip, and be sure to celebrate your progress as you align your actions with your goals. All right. That's a lot of stuff, right? This is a lot to take in. So I want to add something real quick just so we can take care of ourselves, right? Let's do something to help ground and nurture ourselves after we have done this emotionally intense journaling. This, dive into our shadows and this self-reflection of unhealthy patterns that are blocking us from moving forward. I'll add this to the worksheet too, but I really want to do, some type of self-care ritual that's going to help the emotional release and renewal process that we are talking about here today. Find a little find a little cozy private space. You're going to want some type of comforting drink, like a herbal tea, warm water with lemon, whatever your drink is. Grab something that really is comforting for you. Grab a candle. Oh, maybe if you don't want to do candle work, you could do an essential oil diffuser, right? Grab a little journal or some type of piece of paper and a nice, big, soft, fuzzy blanket. Something that is, a favorite of yours, something that is a soothing item. Again, find that quiet spot where you can be alone without interruptions. Light the candle, get your diffuser going, whatever you're doing. Just set the tone for a very peaceful mood. Wrap yourself in a soft blanket. Keep, or whatever that cozy item is that you grabbed, keep it right with you. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take slow, deep breaths. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 6. Repeat this like 3 times, 9 times. Calm your nervous system. Once you're ready, place your hands over your heart and acknowledge what you're feeling without judgment. Say to yourself, it is okay to feel this way. I am giving myself permission to release this weight. If it's helpful, write down any lingering thoughts, right? Any emotions that you're having right now on a separate piece of paper. And then visualize the words carrying your stress or your sadness out of you. Imagine a warm golden light surrounding you. Visualize it flowing into your body, soothing the areas where you feel tension or sadness, and then gently washing the heavy emotions away. And then sip your comforting drink nice and slowly. Let its warmth remind you of the care and love that you are giving yourself. Wrap the blanket around you tightly like a self-hug and say affirmations like I am safe. I am loved and supported. This is part of my growth, and I am strong enough to handle it. And if you did write something down, those lingering emotions, tear it up, burn the piece of paper, do something, some type of symbolic act of letting go. Imagine the heaviness leaving with the smoke or the scattered pieces of paper. And then place your hands on your heart again. Say something, that you're grateful for, even if it's just the courage to face your emotions. This really does shift your focus to a positive note. Now, if you tend to incorporate, sounds into practices like this, choose something calming, nature sounds maybe. After you're done, you could take a warm bath or a shower to ritually, physically and emotionally cleanse yourself. And then treat yourself to something nurturing after you're done. A little favorite snack, a creative activity, or just extra rest. This ritual can help us, process the intense emotions that are going to come if we are actually diving into this type of shadow work, trying to undo the repeat cycles of bad behaviors. I do want to add that if you feel like, you've got this. Okay, Charlene, I got it. I can do it. Have at it. If you are maybe working with some bigger topics, some deeper issues, and are maybe feeling like, yeah, I don't got this. I don't have this. This is too much. Please ask for help. Maybe you have uncovered something bigger that, you think it's just going to be too hard to work through yourself. I would hire a team. Hire your team to support you. You are in charge. You are in control. You are the master of your domain, right? But get a team in place to help you move forward. There's no reason to do it alone. Recognizing when to reach out for help, such as talking to a therapist, whatever it's going to be for you, it is a sign of strength and self awareness. Shadow work can bring stuff up, like tough stuff, hard to process stuff. All right. When should we be reaching out? Well, I think if there's any type of persistent sadness or feeling of like hopelessness, feeling down, empty, or hopeless most days and struggling to find joy in activities that you used to do is going to be a big sign. Frequent, intense feelings of like anger or sadness, anxiety, or irritability that just feel too difficult to manage. It could also look like, constant worry or panic attacks even that are going to interfere with daily life or maybe make you feel unsafe. That's going to be a time to call, wave the white flag, and ask for help. Look for behavioral signs too, right? Avoiding social interactions or maybe isolating yourself from friends and family or activities. That's a sign of maybe needing some additional help. Significant changes in sleeping patterns could also be a sign, but too much or too little. Eating habits can be a sign, or neglecting personal hygiene. Struggling to complete tasks and meet our day in and day out responsibilities, or honestly focus on anything productive, is a pretty big sign to ask for help. And think about physical signs too. Those can pop up like, I mean, not always, but they can be like headaches, stomach issues, being super fatigued, maybe tension that doesn't seem to have like a medical explanation. Maybe you're just feeling drained, like truly exhausted, even after resting or sleeping well. That could be another sign that you need to get a team to help you move through this process. Think about some thought related signs too. Those can be like persistent self critical acts, being really pessimistic, hopeless thoughts that you can't shake off, struggling to concentrate, think clearly, even make small decisions due to, being overwhelmed. Those are all going to be some telltale signs. And I'm not saying all of these are a sign, right? You know, your gut instinct knows when it is time to ask for help. Journaling, meditation, other self care techniques that you normally would use in the past might not be working right now or, for this one specific thing. And that's going to be a time to say, okay, I need help. If you're turning to substances like overeating or other potentially harmful behaviors to escape or numb emotions, that's another big sign too. And a big one for sure, if you have any thoughts of self-harm, please seek help immediately. Any situation where you feel unsafe physically, emotionally, or mentally, it is time to ask for help. Therapists are going to provide a non-judgmental environment where you can share your feelings. They can help identify patterns, reframe negative thoughts, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Therapists are going to offer tools and techniques that are going to be tailored just to you, just specifically to your need and situation. They are there to help. So seeking help it's going to be an amazing proactive step towards healing and growth. If you're unsure whether therapy is the right move, just consider scheduling an initial consultation, right? Just to explore your options. You do not have to face shadow work alone, and support really is always going to be available on some level. I know it might feel like a burden going through the motions of shadow work and journaling, the hours and hours, days and days, weeks and months of energy towards changing habits. But if you change your outlook, like I did, from a burden to reclaiming my power, oh my goodness, it is so freeing. Life is going to be a tapestry that is woven with our patterns, our behaviors. Some are going to be beautiful. They're going to be inspiring. And others are going to be repetitive and confining. These patterns can be habits, behaviors, relationships, right? Something that is shaping our reality. Recognizing and changing them really is one of the most empowering steps we can take towards our own personal growth and transformation. So when we understand that power, the power of our patterns, but also understand our ability to rewrite them, woohoo! Like we unlock the potential for moving forward. We can do it with clarity and we can do it with purpose. The patterns, they're often going to originate from our upbringings, right? Our experiences and the stories that we tell ourselves about who we are and what we deserve. They're not inherently bad, right? They offer comfort. They offer predictability in an unpredictable world, and that can seem intriguing. They're not inherently bad, right? They offer comfort and predictability in an unpredictable world. But just like the movie, Groundhog Day, these cycles often repeat and repeat and repeat until we pause to examine them. So recognizing a pattern requires courage and honesty. It means confronting an uncomfortable truth about ourselves and our choices. Yet, this awareness really is the first step towards liberation. As the saying goes, right? You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. So change begins with that simple yet very profound realization that we have the power to rewrite our narrative. This doesn't mean erasing the past, right? It means learning from it. By shifting our perspective, by embracing new behaviors, we can create patterns that reflect our truest desires and aspirations. The process of change, it's not linear. We know that, right? It's going to require patience and persistence and self-compassion. There are absolutely going to be moments of doubt and setbacks. But each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. The act of changing a pattern is a declaration of self-worth, a message to ourselves that we deserve better and we are capable of more. Now, to move forward, we must replace old patterns with intentional choices. So journaling, mindfulness, and self-reflection are going to be invaluable tools for us during this process. They're going to allow us to identify the triggers, to uncover the root causes of our behaviors, and envision the life that we not only want to create, but will create. Rituals, symbolic acts like, the planting of a seed or lighting of a candle, they can help anchor our intentions in the physical world, giving them form and focus. Community and support are also essential. Sharing our journey with a trusted friend, a mentor, or a therapist really can provide the cheerleader, the encouragement and perspective that we need to get through it all. Sometimes we really do need others to help us see patterns that we cannot identify or recognize on our own. When we break free, though, from those limiting patterns, it's so amazing the space that we get to walk into, the growth, the joy, and fulfillment. We open up ourselves to new experiences and opportunities that align with our true selves. The process of transformation, it's not only something that's going to change our lives, but watch what happens. Watch how it inspires those around you, creating little ripples of positive energy. Life is a journey. We know it is. It's a continuous evolution. But by recognizing and changing our little patterns, I think we get to honor our potential and step into a future that is defined by intention and by empowerment. Every step forward, no matter how small, I know I keep saying that, but it's so important. No matter how small, you guys, it really is a testament to our resilience and our capacity for growth. Okay, all of this started with Groundhog Day, the movie I watch over and over again. I know what I'm going to be doing. I know what my gut feeling is telling me to focus on, and it really is some work stuff. Not that I don't have areas in my own life, but I am going to summarize everything that I was talking about today into a nice little worksheet again over on Patreon. So if you want that cheat sheet, just kind of like I did for the gardening, the witchy garden episode, I'm going to create a worksheet over on Patreon for today, just so you can kind of, bullet style go down and review it. I really do thank you for listening, though. This can be a heavy topic, and the movie does such a great job of bringing a little humor to a really serious subject. But I really do invite you to, take a moment to reflect on your own patterns. What cycles are ready to be broken? What new stories are you ready to write? The power to change really honestly is within you. And it comes with the freedom to move forward into the life that you deserve. All right, I do have a poem for today, a new poem, and the moon update for this week. I would love for you to stay with me as I grab those notes, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. That was a heavy topic. The poem I wrote is a fun summary of everything that we have just been reviewing, but on a much lighter note. And it goes. Oh, patterns, dear patterns, you've had quite your run. You've danced through my days, and you've blocked out my sun. But the time has arrived to bid you adieu, for I'm paving a path that's shiny and new. You were cozy and safe like a old comfy chair, but your cushions are frayed and there's dust everywhere. You whispered, "Hey, stay here. There's no need to roam." But growth only happens when you leave what you've known. I see you now clearly, your loops and your ties, the same situations, the same sad goodbyes. Like reruns on TV, you replay and you stall, yet I'm changing the channel. Farewell to it all. With a journal in hand and some dreams in my heart, I'll sketch out new patterns, a fresh work of art. I'll plant seeds of change in the soil of my soul and nurture new habits to make my life whole. So goodbye to the loops that kept me in place. I'm stepping out boldly. I'll set my own pace. To laughter and light, to roads unexplored, here's to breaking old patterns and moving towards more. All right, our beautiful moon, she is waxing right now. This begins after the new moon phase, and it really does last until the full moon comes up. This is a time of growth, momentum, and intention building. It really does symbolize a period of that increasing energy and light, both in the sky and in our lives. And oh my goodness, you guys, oh my goodness, the card draw over on Patreon for February. How much energy do we need for the month of February to make this happen? Okay, I digress. Right now we're in waxing stage. So what do we want to focus on right now? It is about setting goals and taking action. This is the ideal time to build on the intentions that you set during the new moon. Ask yourself, what steps can I take to nurture my dreams and goals? Take actionable steps though. This is where we are moving towards building our ambitions, right? This phase is about expanding our efforts and allowing our plans to gain momentum. As the moonlight grows, it supports our confidence and our determination. So use this time to, kind of reinforce your commitment to your goals. Seek out tools though, support, knowledge that you need to help succeed. The waxing moon really does encourage that proactive effort. Focus on what you want to attract in your life, whether it's love, success, health, maybe it's creativity, but visualize these desires growing stronger with each passing day. And acknowledge the progress that you've made and the opportunities that you are cultivating. You know what? Talking about habits so much today, start incorporating habits during a waxing moon. Example, like if you're focusing on self-care, commit to like a little daily practice like meditation or exercise or journaling. This is the time to add in. Recognize your achievements though along the way, right? Just to keep your motivation high. Let's see, what can we do during a waxing moon? If you're looking for some good journal prompts during a waxing moon, think about, what am I ready to grow and nurture? Think about what steps can I take to make progress this week? Think about what resources or support will help me achieve my goals. Just action, action, action. The waxing moon is such a powerful ally for building our momentum and bringing our intentions, to light. So embrace this phase. It is a time to take inspired action and watch your dreams begin to bloom. All right, as I wrap up this episode on, changing patterns, I do want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each of you. Your willingness to tune in, to reflect, and to share this space with me means more than words can capture. Change isn't always easy, but I think knowing we're on this journey together makes it feel, a little lighter, a little more magical. So your support, whether it's listening, sharing the podcast with someone who might need it, or simply sending good energy my way. Oh my gosh, it fuels my work and it really does keep the Witchy Work Wishes community growing strong. So thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for this space. I hope today's episode offered, you something magical and meaningful to take with you. Maybe it was a new perspective. Maybe it was a little nudge towards transformation, or even just the comfort of knowing that you are never alone in your growth. If this episode did resonate with you, don't forget to like and share, maybe even leave a review just to help others find their way here. Your feedback, stories, and insights are always welcome. You really are the heartbeat of this podcast. So if you'd like to dive even deeper into the magical journey, though, please join me over on Patreon. You'll find exclusive offerings like Oracle card draws, our monthly work motivation, and magical worksheets that are packed with teas and journal prompts and exercises and spells to help us on our paths. Plus, your support on Patreon helps keep this podcast thriving and accessible for all. Don't forget to check out the Witchy Work Wishes shop too. I've got some magical tools like our writing journals, notebooks, a water bottle. I have things just to help accompany all of us on our journey. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me today. I really do hope the rest of your week and weekend are magical and amazing, and I'll talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.